Doing well, everybody. So today I'm going to be doing a talk on suicide prevention. This is a series that I started this week, a new global campaign to reduce global suicide levels. So I'm not going to waste any more time on introductions. So those that have been following this series will try to understand, hopefully, what I'm trying to achieve through collaboration and partnership. So today's talk is really open up a new education curriculum around how we really safeguards people's minds in terms of their mental well-being, to their stress and anxiety. So I'll probably going to talk for about 20 minutes today because this is a long conversation that's very, very important. And I hope that you get value from this. And if you want to DM me after at all, any questions around this and what I'm doing, what the project is, and you want to get involved, please do just contact me here on LinkedIn or YouTube, where hopefully this is going out because there is some technical problems at the moment between LinkedIn and Restream. So let's go ahead. So we know from data that sadly every 40 seconds a person dies by suicide somewhere in the world. Um, that's over 800,000 people a year, which is quite startling. Now, bearing in mind that data for sadly in this industry, or feel bad saying that, but where people end their life, it's sometimes, or attempts to, it's sometimes very difficult to get data on this. Not every country has a good system like this, and it is difficult to monitor. But we know that reference point COVID 19, generally stress and anxiety, people struggling, are going up. So there is a direct link that leads on to people sadly choosing to end their life. And my prediction is these levels will increase over the next 2 to 3 years, and every day the numbers will go up. Even the ones that we don't see, people will still sadly choose to end their life. So the data is getting bigger, and we need to do a lot more work around data, which is very difficult. But through things like AI and data models and platforms and collaboration, I think we can get some more accurate data and cross-reference that off between what I'm trying to achieve and other companies around the world, of putting out the right educational videos to help people manage their stress and anxiety, because it all falls back to, I would argue, that one capability: how are we managing their mental health today, or what I like to call our mental fitness. And there's a whole host of reasons why people sadly choose to end their life. We don't know exactly on every single individual because we don't know what's going through their thoughts in their mind. We can only pick up data points from people that have attempted, and research drawn from academics and other various different um, practices. Put on just slightly. I apologise for going a little bit too quick. I'm very keen to get all of this out and try to conclude it, which is very difficult. I mean, I can't do it in 15 or 20 minutes, but maybe I can open up some new questions around suicide prevention and putting out around mental well-being. So, why do humans struggle with their purpose? It'd be very difficult for me to answer that question for everybody on this planet, because we all go through, I think, times in life where we struggle with different things, whether it be paying the bills, a new job, which I'll talk about in a moment. And some data suggest that some those in their life, some of them don't have purpose, or they're very worried, or they feel like a burden on others. And what I'm offering today is a recommendation that might help a lot of people throughout their life journey in struggling with their purpose, because sometimes I've recently seen this in a lot of people with their mental well-being or their mental health, is that they don't know who they are in that stage in their life. So they've gone through, and sadly they don't know who they are. And that means this follows on to understanding I struggle with who I am, what's my purpose, Why am I here? And it's a question I think we all as humans ask. Some of us in faith, we have religious beliefs, but generally speaking, sadly, the younger age group from data, 15 to 29-year-olds, uh, which is suicide was the biggest contributor, or sorry, biggest, uh, yeah. So in 2019, 15 to 29-year-olds was suicide, and that's quite bad considering that we do have education systems around the world that's supposed to safeguard people in one way, in terms of bringing them from an education system that allows them to grow and find purpose. Okay, so that's where I'm trying to. It's a very difficult context, and trying to conceptualize everything is quite difficult. But my attempt to do this is based on where we are now, what targets can we set, how do we value human life more, and follow that as data in terms of monitoring people mental health. And we all need to get better at doing that, because we're never going to have enough resources to safeguard all the brains in the world, I would argue. So just moving on slightly, and I'm going to try and bring this all together at the end. Career management. So this leads on to the previous slide. So when we try to find purpose, we all want to have a rewarding career, or at least find a job, perhaps. That's not always possible in some parts of the world because we have poverty, etc. Economy from the days low and middle income countries where we've seen the highest levels of suicide. Um, I'm not sure why the reason is that, but I think that with education, we're not putting on, which I was speaking about yesterday. When you go to school, mental well-being, emotional intelligence, servant leadership are not on a curriculum, and these are really good lessons, subjects that need to be taught, because the data is telling us that 15 to 21-year-olds are the highest in their life, and from the World Health Organization, it suggests that people attempt first and then they follow it through on a second attempt. So, are we putting enough educational content out in our schools to safeguard people a career? And we can all change their career. That was evident, in the Great Resignation, which was a big wake-up call, to be honest with you, about how we look after everybody in the workplace. Having empathy and action, and reducing notions of toxic leadership. These are about. I'm only giving you a very um, broad and basic insight around some of the things we need to think about to lower global suicide and provide better mental health for ourselves. Okay, because it's our responsibility in one way to safeguard our own out there, but it can't be the you can't say to the world population, right, if you need help, ring this number. If you need help, go to your doctor, because not everybody has access to those services. And in short, I would argue we all need to get better at managing our own career management. Is very important to effectively manage our stress and anxiety, because in the workplace, if you're working full time, for example, you will spend more hours in the workplace, whether that's hybrid or not, than your own families, because it's just the way the times work. So finding purpose is important in careers, and we just need a better curriculum around that. So moving on, okay, an ideal pathway. So there's three images up there. There's three areas that I think that would really help a lot of people. I've put a very ambitious target here. I think whose previous target was 10% by 2020. I'm still looking at a lot of data. I don't know whether that was achieved. It'd be very hard to kind of gauge that, or to try and to look at data anyway on that side. So On the left, you've got there's three images. I have to work on reverse. So the first one represents emotional intelligence with the lady. More teachings on emotional intelligence, first of all, which I have been speaking about this week and last week, and for the last 2 or 3 years on LinkedIn. Then you need elements and strong principles of servant leadership. And then last, you need reflection. Following these three principles and putting more education in our systems and governments, policies, practices, educational institutions will all help to not just raise awareness, but put in a new curriculum, and we can video content at scale, which is what I'm trying to do with my brand, and effectively teach people, number one, how to manage their own stress and anxiety better. So those, certainly from age group, it could be all ages that certainly take their own life. 15 to 29-year-olds have a really good solid footing in terms of, finding their purpose in the world, which we all struggle with at times. So that's my very broad, basic purpose. Some of the things that we need to really think about, and it all comes back to one thing, which is education. So there is a target there. At the moment, I'm just connecting with as many professionals in the suicide prevention industry as possible, and in the process developing educational videos. And once I have scalability, I'll be able to put out videos and help governments and work with and make partnerships to help reduce global suicide 2030. It's an ambitious target, but I think with the right interventions and collaborations and following some of the principles, working with other thought leaders around this, there are other experts in this area. Really put in a better curriculum around the mental well-being, because it does come back to managing our own stress and anxiety. In short, I would argue. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this brief kind of semi-fast talk, because I had a lot to get through, to be honest with you. And I don't need minutes, because the science is that we switch off after 15 minutes. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you got value from this. So if you do have any questions around the project that I'm doing, or you want to get involved in projects, then please do direct message me here on LinkedIn. Hopefully this has gone out to LinkedIn, if not on YouTube, but please do contact me. I'm slowly in the process of looking for partners, but it's early stages yet. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed day. And if you're on LinkedIn, I'll see you tomorrow on my next live talk. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now.